In a moment, we hear what the people of Christchurch think the priority should be. But first, John Selwood with the man who says it's time for the government, Jerry Brownlee and Sarah to take a back seat for the good of the city.
Walking through parts of central Christchurch really can be a tad depressing. There are big plans, paved with plenty of good intention, but progress is slow.
We've heard from Sarah that they've delayed some of the big projects out quite some time to 2019, 2020, the convention centre, the Metro Sports. These are some of the things we talked about last year in terms of, are these budgets too big? Are these projects deliverable? Is the scale appropriate for the city?
Are you saying that the blueprint, if you like, that 100-day plan, the Anchor project is done?
I think it's done its job, and now we need a complete refresh of that.
I think their paranoia about what's happening in the CBD is unrealistic and unreasonable.
I mean, is it unrealistic? Because I wandered through. OK, I'm just an average citizen who happened to have a camera with me.
John, they haven't landed a 10-year plan. And most of the sites that you'd have seen with your camera are privately owned. So we do need to have big catalyst projects that encourage the private development to come in.
The word is that your convention centre is slow because the budget's blown. Is that true? That's what is being suggested.
No, that's not true.
Sarah and the government still have control of the central city rebuild. Certain parts are taking shape, like the bus exchange and the Justice Precinct.
Remember that we're also looking at costs that run over a lifetime.
If we go to the government and say, okay, this is what we want to happen, we want to take back control of the central city, we want to re-look at some of these projects, we want to deliver stuff within the budgets, and if that means re-scoping things so that they're not so supersized, well then we'll have to do that.
Would you consider, or the government acquiesce and say, yeah, we can look at scaling down the convention centre?
I don't think that we should conduct a discussion around the future of Christchurch based on one project.
The council is facing a $1 billion budget blowout, with pressure to sell assets to pay for the rebuild, and of course, big rate increases. No argument, the council is keen to save money wherever it can. The interesting thing, though, is this debate over the scale of the convention centre isn't about money. Well, not from the council's perspective, and that is because the convention centre is being paid for by the government, or you, the taxpayer. No, this is a more subtle thing. This is about who should control the future shape, the design of Christchurch. Should it be central government, or should it be locals?
Well, this is the heart of the city, and it feels like our heart's been pulverised to some extent, and we need to now stand up and say, okay, this is what we want for our city. We want to design the square. We want to design Victoria Square. We want to say what happens in our town, because the people are calling us all the time and saying we don't want this, we want the basics back, we want our roads restored, and we want a smaller scale city that fits in with the size of Christchurch.